SMDC.
Hello everyone! Good morning and welcome to the launching of SMDC's latest premium development in the south of Manila, the South 2 Residences. And we have with us today two very important individuals in the real estate industry who will talk about this new development in detail in just a bit. My name is Bianca Gonzalez. I am your host for this morning, and we are about to witness the unveiling of South 2 Residences. This, of course, is an SMDC development that offers 5-star features and amenities conveniently located within the SM South Mall lifestyle city in Las Pinas. This dynamic, highly urbanized city is actually now in the Hall of Fame for the cleanest and greenest city in Metro Manila and the Philippines. From a residential development built right next to an iconic SM Mall, it's amazing how South Mall has evolved into this world-class integrated lifestyle complex with offices, merong redeveloped SM Mall, syempre ang SMDC residential development, and the future university, all in a community that provides this tatak SMDC live, work, and play environment to all the residents. So to kick off our program, allow me to take you on a bit of the tour as I and the Modern Living team take you on a community tour of the SM South Mall Integrated Lifestyle City. Please watch this. As more and more people aspire to have a comfortable and convenient lifestyle where everything is within reach, a place where we can live, work, learn, and play has become a necessity. Fortunately, integrated modern living is now a thing, with a development in the south of Metro Manila that offers seamless fusion of this lifestyle that you've always imagined. Given its access and proximity to other urban centers, Las Pinas City is a thriving district in the south with an exciting mix of business, commercial, and infrastructure developments. And at the center of it all is the SM South Mall Integrated City, a master plan community project of the SM Group of Companies. Located along the main thoroughfare of Las Pinas City, the SM South Mall Integrated City is a sprawling 20-hectare lifestyle city that houses residential condo development SMDC South Residences, SM South Tower, an office building, and a premier mall, SM South Mall. This complex is primed for development. BPOs have been setting up shop within the vicinity, and a number of key corporations have relocated to nearby Alabang and Parañaque City. All these are merely a ride away, with a transportation terminal situated within the lifestyle city. SM South Mall Integrated City is also close to a number of good schools and universities, making it an ideal place to raise a family. SM South Mall serves as the center of activity in this lifestyle city. With a floor area of 200,000 square meters, it has over 350 retail, dining, leisure, and entertainment choices. You can definitely shop the latest trend, go on a food adventure, or just do what you love to do. Tell us about how SM South Mall is really the premier destination here in the South.
Well, we have evolved the whole mall to be like a live, work, play environment. It's now a very dynamic complex.
Right. So let's talk first about the cuisine and the dining experience that you offer in SM South Mall.
Yes, we have like all the different flavors for the different palettes. We have anything you can think of. Like we have American, Chinese, Italian, anything that you crave for. Milk teas, we have it here. So I'm sure you're not going to run out of options when you go to South Mall.
So yes, the shopping as well in SM South Mall has expanded massively. So tell us about what you have now.
Well, the mall is home to international brands such as Mango, H&M, with the largest only home store of H&M in the South. And we have Charles & Keith, Terra Nova, and many more retail stores. It's complete with anything and everything you need, from fashion to apparel to gadgets to lifestyle or hobby needs, daily essentials and items from the home. We also have the biggest SM store in the South.
Okay, and I heard you have major plans in the leisure and entertainment development. department, all being
Yes.
constructed now. Tell us about that.
Yes, we're doing a lot of construction. Our complex has the first mall perimeter running track in the south. We offer a wide variety of entertainment for families and friends, and we also have the only trampoline park in the south. And we offer like different cinemas for your choosing, such as IMAX. We have 2 directors clubs already with plush leather recliners and in-house butler service, and we're utilizing the latest in digital sound, so our cinemas have full audio of the Dolby Atmos. Currently, we are doing our renovation for the bowling center. That's going to be relocated on the 3rd floor, along with other activities like archery, ping pong. We have virtual reality concepts there. And we're also going to have an indoor basketball court inside the mall, as well as a multi-event venue hall where we're going to hold concerts and different things there. So it's everything for the family. We still have our cyber zone there.
Let's talk about the SM integrated city concept. I feel like this is the future of really where SM is going, and you have it here in SM South.
Yeah, so we are pretty much your destination. You live here, you work here, and you play here, and you also shop here. So our integrated city concept provides like a 360-degree lifestyle for our residents. You can wake up to have a jog around the complex and hold your business meetings. And when you're done, you can end the day in the mall. You can eat in our restaurants and watch a movie with your friends, and all within stone's throw away from where you live. So that's the whole plan for this whole complex that we have.
With the South fast becoming known as the next ideal location for businesses, the SM South Tower provides office spaces with its 21,700 square meter of leasable area. Aside from the Sky Garden that provides the perfect respite from the daily grind, SM South Tower also houses retail tenants that serve the whole community, such as restaurants, a medical city clinic, and convenience stores. Tell us about when you decided to hold office here in South Tower.
We have to look into usually the site image, the history of the place itself. SM, of course, has built its mark already in terms of building and operating mall clinics. Next will be the demographics. We need to know who our clients will be, how close they are to the location, and at the same time, the community surrounding the location itself, the infrastructure, the safety of the building, knowing that it's SM made, so that would entail safety also, and the requirements that we need to support our clinic operation. The parking and accessibility is also important for us.
Over 2 years here in South Tower, how has the experience been?
We're more than happy to be here. In 2 years, we were able to build a good rapport with our clientele, mostly coming from the South residences, also the neighboring areas around Alabang Zapote Road, and institutions and schools as well. So we have them, and also employees coming from the offices of the South Tower as well.
Right, that's right. So all the offices na meron sa inyo na din nagpapa-clinic job. What can you say about how convenient everything is? Like, for example, you are in an office tower that's beside the mall, that's a few steps away from the South residences and all these other villages.
We're more than privileged to have a location that is located centrally. We're very near the parking lot, which is very accessible, not just for the patients, but for our staff as well. We are near a terminal hub. The commute is very easy, and we can also cater to mga patients coming from provincial areas, coming from Laguna and Cavite. The mall naman, when, of course, at this time of pandemic, I'm sure there is still question about safety of going to the hospital. Now, while they're doing their errands, both grocery and shopping, they can just visit our clinic for their health concerns. For the residences, they can just walk over and go to our clinic to address, of course, care and service that they would want us to give them.
Super, super impressive. We loved the experience taping there, and In the south, talagang masarap yung simoy ng hangin. So that's a huge extra. And clearly, leisure, personal, and social spaces are seamlessly interwoven in this one complex. So there's so much to see, so much to do, and so much to love. And it's also wonderful, of course, to know that the SM South Mall Lifestyle Integrated City not only offers yung comfort and convenience, of course, by having everything within reach, a stone's throw away, ika nga, but through integrated cities like this, it's so responsive to our need for that sustainable, low carbon footprint lifestyle that we've all been, trying to achieve, especially in these fast-paced modern times. And through its never-ending quest for excellence, SMDC continues to breathe life into their sustainability goals so that the residents and the generation of Filipinos to come may live the quality of life that really we all deserve. So with the addition of South 2 residences, SM South Mall Integrated Lifestyle City has shown this sustainable, dynamic community is continuously evolving, and I think madami pa tayong makikita dito in the years to come. And so, without further ado, we proudly present to you SMDC's newest project, the South 2 Residences. As you can see, this is truly all about living that convenient, modern, and luxurious lifestyle. From the spacious grand lobby that SMDC is known for to the hotel-like amenities, syempre nandiyan ang open green spaces and a full range of lifestyle options. We all just virtually experienced together how living at the South 2 residences can be your ideal home in the South, especially in this time of the new normal, ika nga. And we can't wait to learn more about it, and I'm sure our guests would love to know how they can be part of this integrated lifestyle community. That's why it is time for us to meet our panelists, both of whom will be sharing their insights, their expertise, and their wisdom on investing and choosing a community that is perfect for you. Our first guest is the CEO and founder of Leechiu Property Consultants, a privately held professional real estate brokerage company. With 25 years of experience in real estate, David Leechiu is considered the leading commercial real estate broker in the Philippines. Currently, he is part of the Board of Trustees of IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines and has been instrumental in steering the Next Wave City since its inception in 2009. David will be talking a bit about investment opportunities in the south of Manila and how an address within this mixed-use development affects the value of a residential property. So we are honored to have with us Mr. David Leechiu.
Thank you very much, everyone, Bianca, for that kind introduction.
Thanks so much, David. We are very, very excited to hear about your insights on South 2 residences. Our next panelist is an Assistant Vice President for Project Development of the SM Prime Holdings, Inc. She is an advocate of the Good Guys campaign and champions SMDC's mission of building a movement of good guys in all of its communities. So Jan will be sharing with us the idea behind the SM South Mall Integrated Lifestyle City that we gave you a peek of kanina, and SMDC's mixed-use developments and how the company continues to nurture its communities. So joining us this morning, SMDC Assistant Vice President, Ms. Jan Catherine C.
Hi, Bianca. Hi, David. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. Hi, David. Hi, Jan. Good morning. Thank you for your precious time. We know you're both very busy, so let's get right to it. I'd like to start with you, Jan. Kanina pa I was throwing the term mixed-use developments. If I've been throwing this out there, can you tell us the idea behind mixed-use development? What is this concept and what are the benefits of living in one?
Well, that's a great question, Bianca. You know, a mixed-use development, the idea behind it is really the creation of this cohesive community wherein you have work and play all in one place, or at least in the proximity. It's this lifestyle where you have many options all in just one place. And because it's all in one place, you minimize your travel time and you get to devote more time on the things that actually matter most to us. Oh, and lastly, because you don't have to cover so much distance, we somewhat reduce carbon footprint, which of course is great for the environment.
Yes, definitely. And I've actually done a couple of SMDC features throughout these years. And finally, you have one in the South. Yay, with South 2 residences. Now, South 2 specifically is in this mixed-use development. How do you feel that South 2 will address the needs and demands brought about by the new normal? And what can we expect from SM South Mall Lifestyle City?
Well, South 2 really provides an address that self-sustainingly contains retail, offices, and community institutions like hospitals and schools. You know, you don't have to go far to meet a friend to dine out or do chores like go to the bank, go to the groceries. Everything is at your doorstep. And because you reduce the time that you spend outside, you also reduce your risk of exposure. You know, the South Mall City lifestyle isn't just a lifestyle city built for the future. It's also built for the now. It provides a convenient location that provides safety and community. You know, these are goals that SMDC has focused on even way before the pandemic.
Yeah, I love that. Not just built for the future, but built for the now. That's your tagline right there. And actually, Jan and David, I got to speak to a few residents in South Residence, and they're very happy with their experience. So I think it's time to bring in another voice into our very special event this morning. Let's hear about her SMDC experience in this video. You were telling me earlier before the interview that you do live dito sa South.
Yes.
And you just decided to move from a house to a condo.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Dahil single ako, mas prefer ko na mag-condo na lang. Tapos dito kasi, very convenient kasi katabi ko lang yung mall. Yan, so lahat ng kailangan ko nandito lang din. Tsaka nakakapag-concentrate ako sa work ko. 3 to 5 minutes lang. Kaya sobrang advantage sa akin yung SMDC kasi lahat malapit sa akin.
We were talking about it earlier as well na safety and security was a major factor why you decided to invest dito sa South Residence.
Oo. Pag dito ka, sobrang secured ka kasi hindi naman makakapasok basta-basta sa unit mo kung sino-sino lang eh. Tsaka sobrang higpit ng security nila dito.
So let's talk about your units.
Okay naman so far, as in wala namang hassle. Yung isa hindi pa lang nito-turn over, yun yung investment ko. Kasi pwede ko siyang parentahan.
So for residential and for investment was your purpose?
Yes.
How about your unit? What do you love doing in your unit? The layout?
Siguro yung sa hapon. So, malamig kasi. Hindi mo siya kailangan ng sobrang aircon. I'm in 9th floor eh. So, pag dungaw mo sa bintana, maganda yung makikita mo. So, nakaka-relax.
Yeah.
Yun.
It's a good thing also. And you mentioned what you do in the morning here around the premises.
Masarap mag-ikot kasi yung halaman dito magaganda. Tapos safe ka pa.
balita ko, you are a frequent visitor. Yun na lang, visitor.
Yes.
Frequent visitor of the mall since day.
Oo, medyo. Pangalawang tahanan ko from yung SM South Mall. Kasi dahil sa business ko, so halos lahat ng mga materyales, kailangan ko mag-purchase lahat. Dahil medyo marami rin akong empleyado, so yung ibang mga needs nila, like mga personal needs, so sa akin din dumadaan.
But you also frequent the grocery. How often do you go back?
Ngayon hindi na masyado, pero before, everyday.
Wow, every
Yes.
day. You mean pre-quarantine?
Yes, every day.
Okay. It's so convenient that you walk. Like how many minutes would you say from your unit to the grocery or to the
Mabilis kasi ako maglakad. Siguro 2 to 3 minutes lang.
If ever would you say that buying a unit here in South Residences is a good investment?
Of course naman. Especially kung dito ka lang din sa area. Tsaka, I think kung katahimikan yung hanap, parang dito sa South, based on experience, at peace ako dito. Sabi nga, andito yung puso ko.
So as you can see, Day is a very, very happy resident of South Residences. But what's interesting is she bought a unit for herself to live in because it's near her work, near all her errands. But also she bought another unit for investment. So let's go deeper into that investment aspect. And David, we'd like to talk to you, of course, about investing in real estate. And there's really been this growth in real estate in the South in the recent years. So can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so I've always, from very quite a long time ago, proposed that whole South area is significantly undervalued compared to the rest of Manila. I mean, if you look at maybe the highest end markets of Forbes and Dasma, trading now at 400,000 per square meter to 450,000 per square meter, and then you've got Ayala, Alabang, which is the best village in in the south at 100,000 per square. That discount is too big. And then if you compare that to other projects, like for example, the SMDC project that we're talking about, the price differential is irrationally large. And I think that's where the upside for projects like this will benefit new buyers, because I think over time, over the next 5 to 10 years, property prices are just going to keep rising, especially when you have projects like what SM is doing here, where it's one of the few complete integrated townships this part of the South.
Right, definitely. I actually grew up in the South. I'm Parañaque, so South Residences is my hood, and I'm so glad you said na parang undervalued yung South. So, I guess it's safe to say that with even all the new developments in terms of roads and highways, talagang this will skyrocket in the years to come. So it makes it such a good investment talaga. Now, David, I talked a bit to Jan about this earlier, about why mixed-use developments are important, especially now in this new normal. In terms of that and property value, what are your thoughts on this?
So first, if you look at the formula of SMDC, I think what Mr. Henry C. Jr. has done is quite revolutionary, because prior to its first projects, the middle class didn't really have the amenities that were available to the upper end. So condominiums had very small pools, no jogging paths. It didn't have scale. The buildings were very small, and what they did. What they started with this market about 12, 15 years ago was to democratize the luxury that was afforded by the upper class. So what do I mean by that? Before SMDC happened, there were no lap pools of this size and scale available to the middle class. There were no jogging paths. You only found that in places like Alexandra, which is very exclusive. And then what that's done is you've given that to the real middle class. You didn't have to leave the premises. You just had to go down, go get your groceries done, get a haircut done, all in one short walk from your unit down to the amenity and back to your unit. And then I think the market has responded very favorably because if you compare prices from 2006, 2005, when the first projects came up, all the way to today, SMDC condos are up by anywhere between 5 times to 8 times what they were when they first launched 10, 12, 13 years ago. So that's a testimony of what the market has done, the success of the project, and how well they've been received by this market. I think the next 10 to 20 years for the Philippines will be all about the creation of a larger middle class, and that just means a much higher acceleration and appreciation of property values in the Philippines.
Hopefully, what you said just gave me so much hope, which is something we all read right now. And while you were talking, I saw Jan smiling with all your very, very nice words, of course. So let's go to Jan. I know that it's so important to SMDC, what David said, yung giving your residents this quality of life talaga, that good quality of life. And I know that community building is also so important for SMDC. So tell us about that.
Well, yes, community building to us is extremely important. And the reason for such is that community building is not just about infrastructure. It definitely isn't. You know, we all know that it's people who make a community. But a great community can inspire people, inspire its residents to build one another up. You know, it's not just mutual respect and equal treatment, but really going beyond that, going out of your way perhaps to help someone. So to foster this movement, we've actually pulled together the Good Guys, which is basically a collaboration between both our residents and our staff on various projects. Some of these might include our weekend farmers market or our bloodletting programs, and also our pabili services for PWDs and seniors. So at SMDC, you know, our commitment doesn't just stop at turnover.
Yes, it obviously is evident even in the testimonials of many SMDC residents that I've spoken to, not just in South residents, but all over the metro. Can you tell us more about that commitment of SMDC to its residents? What is the driving force behind it?
Well, at SMDC, we've always lived by this vision, you know, of providing good homes for every Filipino. And not just any house, but really a good home where you're allowed the luxury of a good life. One that's, of course, complete, safe, and secure. So we try to hold this vision steady and we anchor our very decisions on it, on this vision, on this dream, right? So we really aim to touch the lives of our residents and our stakeholders through the houses and the services that we provide.
You know what? Like I mentioned earlier, I've spoken to some residents of SMDC, and what you said earlier really rings true. Parang with their testimonials that I've heard throughout the years, it's that when they live in SMDC, aside from everything being there already and the hotel-like amenities, they also really truly value the security and the safety that they feel within the community. And I think in the years to come, mixed-use developments will really be the thing, especially for SMDC. So how do you both think that mixed-use developments will affect how people will live in the years to come? Who wants to go first, Jan or David?
Ladies first.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, mixed-use development really shapes the community to be more self-sustaining. You know, it provides both efficient, like personal and social spaces. As we've observed over the past few months, right? Good mental health is very, very important. And the collaboration of having people together is still very important, and also still having your own personal time. So I think mixed-use development really gives you an avenue for such. And, you know, at the heart of mixed-use development is really community building, you know, which benefits every member of that community.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, thank you, Bianca. So I think it's easy to see the amenities in many of these buildings. So the big pool, the jogging paths, the supermarket. But what many people take for granted is the infrastructure that people don't see. And so we talk about the generator capacity, we talk about the security that many property owners get for owning condominiums, because having a condominium is much more secure than having a standalone house in an ungated village. And then you've got what many people take for granted, waste management systems and sewage systems, which these buildings, like the ones that SM are doing, provide the property owners. And again, that's where, and if you're convinced that the wealth in the next 20 years in the Philippines is just going to keep growing, what that means is that most households will not be able to afford their usual yaya and houseboy, pool boy, gardener, and etc., 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 which means people will have to grow up without any household help. And because of that, people are migrating out of homes to go into condominiums, where the living space is much smaller, because that's really all people need. And if they want a walk in the park, if they want a garden, they go down to the amenity floors. So I think it's a lot more efficient way of living. And urbanization is something that will continue to grow in Manila, in the Philippines. And that's just the validation of the migration that we see going out from the countryside, going out from the rural side into the urban space, which is where the townships come to play. And I think that will be the new norm for the next 20 to 50 years. And it's only going to get bigger, because the people who are right now in high school at 15, 16 years old, 10 years from now will be 25. They'll be real millennial, yuppie, urban professionals. And they're just going to live that lifestyle of independence, getting married late, having more pets than they do have kids. And that's why the condominium space is a lot more efficient, practical way of going about doing things. Let's talk about infrastructure, because Alabang Zapote was, for the last 30 years, plagued with extreme congestion, right? But that is going to change in the next 12 months, because on one side of that road, which is closer to the airport, you've got the C5 South Link, which connects it from the airport all the way to Bonifacio, right? And if you haven't tried that, if you're coming out of Moonwalk, your life just changed because of that one little ramp crossing South Super into C5. And on the other end of that road, closer to the South Expressway, is the two Skyway projects of one of San Miguel and one of Metro Pacific, which will be completed. Both of them will be completed in the next 12 months. And that's going to connect the SLEX to the North Luzon Expressway, which will cut traffic by half, at least half, for tens of thousands of people, which will decongest this Alabang Zapote road, which used to be, as I said, perennially congested. So that's going to be addressed in both ends of this road. It will open up so much property that was purely industrial in nature, now shifting to residential use. SM happens to be one of the largest landowners in this whole strip of road. I mean, which road is SM not a big property owner anyway, but and it's just going to create more townships in this area. And so I think I'm very excited about this and many other such projects.
I love listening to the two of you, because like I mentioned earlier, when you talk about this, it gives so much hope, which is something so many people, including myself, need right now. And you're right, townships sprouting out everywhere. If dati the dream was to live in Makati, in Taguig, in Pasig, para you're like in the center of action. Now we're really bringing this to more places and to more people, because like you said, condo living is not just for maybe the yuppies, fresh graduates, even college students, even for career women, for early nesters, for everyone. So this is definitely a great option for South lovers or for those who want to move into the fresh air of the South. And it's really inspiring how SMDC has created this community of enablers that are here to do good, that community of good guys. Hindi lang siya community building. The way you two laid it out, it's really like helping each other. Parang nation building talaga siya, and something we really need at this time. And it only means that if you become part of South 2 residences and the community, you also become part of the good guys, and that's something to look forward to. So again, David and Jan, thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise with us. It was just a short time, but I learned so much. And again, affordable, luxurious, convenient urban living with generous resort-like amenities, all perfectly integrated with a commercial retail environment that gives residents access to this truly cosmopolitan lifestyle. Accessibility, we talked about that. Convenience, comfort, and on top of these, a safe, secure, and vibrant community dedicated to nurturing each individual's and each family's well-being, like you both mentioned, so that you and your family can be more, can do more, can live more. And this is SMDC's commitment to the community. And this, of course, is no less than what you can expect at South 2 residences within the SM South Mall Integrated Lifestyle City. So with that, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us this morning. Of course, once again, our panelists. And before we let you go, we'd like to ask both of you for your parting words for everyone. Jan?
Well, first of all, thanks again for having me, Bianca, and thank you so much, David, also for, I learned a lot also myself, and it really gives me something to think about. So I guess for parting, I'd just like to wish everyone, safety and good health as well as we move forward in this new normal and towards the future too.
Thank you, Jan. And David?
So I'd like to encourage everyone that this is the time to be invested. And why do I say that? It's because at the first week of December, which is where we are today, the credible Western vaccines are being made available to the market this month and most likely be on shore in the Philippines by early next year. Coinciding with that is the fact that interest rates in the world have collapsed, and that is significantly benefiting the Philippines. We have to thank Secretary Sonny Dominguez for the amazing fiscal management for the Philippines that has led to historically low long-term interest rates that the Philippines currently enjoys, and that's going to translate to the regular home borrower access to long-term cheap capital, and a mortgage market will emerge in the Philippines because of that. It will translate to a lot of people, hundreds if not millions of people in the Philippines that will finally be able to afford real estate because of cheap long-term money. And the third element that's conspiring with this is the single largest injection of infrastructure the Philippines has ever seen in the next 12 months. So vaccines plus historically low long-term interest rates available to the ordinary borrower in the Philippines, plus the biggest infrastructure injection we've ever seen in history, are all going to make and transpire for a virtuous cycle for the Philippines for the next 10 to 20 years. Now is a time to be invested and take positions, whether you want to take a position in the stock market or in the property market. And Bianca and Jan and SM, thank you very much for having me in your program.
Thank you very much for your super valuable advice. Ang swerte-swerte ng lahat ng nanunood ngayon to get access to that priceless tidbit of information and kumbaga investment advice from the David Leechiu. Maraming salamat. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, David. And again, thank you everyone for joining us in celebration of the launch of South 2 Residences. We are excited to welcome all of its future residents. And with South 2, we recently broke ground. I am Bianca Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us, and I'm wishing you a great weekend. And remember, by choosing SM SMDC's South 2, you can do more, be more, and live more.
SMDC,